think there's a gay agenda when it's so much more than that. People who say, oh, it's a gay agenda, to depopulate certain sections and groups of people and stuff like that, and it's really not that. It's actually they're like 5 steps ahead of the game. If you read just the first chapter of Brave New World, you know where we're going, and so um, it's really far more than, oh, they're wanting everybody to be gay so that they can reduce the population because of the Georgia Guidestones. Let me tell you, first of all, I personally think because of the things that I understand about chemicals, the chemical contaminants in our bodies and pregnant women, and the things that are messing up the endocrine systems, and the things that they've known about for the last 30 years or 40 years, that I just think the whole push, as far as seeing more gay or homosexual television and blah blah blah, and the support is because they want to cover up the fact that they have created this due to greed. Okay, companies poisoning us with the food and in the air and in these products from, and I'm hesitant because I don't want to say any company names, but there are certain companies that made certain things to go on cookware, but there's a chemical in the cookware that's in 99% of our bodies in the U.S. Okay, there's things that they use in the ground and for uh, crops and such that is affects the endocrine system that can also create anti-androgens and xenoestrogens and can actually lower the testosterone that the boy child should get when it is in the womb. Therefore, it does come out feeling like it's a girl because it got more girl hormone than boy hormone, but the genome itself, the chromosomes rather is, it comes out with genitalia, but if you mess with the chemical stuff, and it's trust me, it's nothing you can do about it. It's irreversible. So instead of coming out and saying, hey, we screwed everybody up, which would be hundreds of millions of people in some form, whether it's this boom of homosexual, or I wouldn't say homosexual, I'd say gender behavior disorders, gender association behavior disorders. Instead of coming out and saying that and being sued and actually company going under, and then there's lawsuits with ex politicians and the federal government. I mean, it would be a total total scandal. Instead of coming out and saying that, they'd rather divert attention from it and say, hey, well, let's, hey, we're proud, blah blah blah. They promote it because they don't want you to look the other direction. They don't want people to know that they did this purely out of greed. And people want to say, oh no, it's because they did. No, it was things that companies wanted to use certain products. FDA isn't as powerful as you think. You know, they wanted to use products that was harmful, and they go and they lobby for loose legislation and regulations as far as how much they can give us, and what's the word? Bio something, persistent, something like that, where it just doesn't, things that don't, it just collects in our body over time. These things, and how much of this can they give us, and oh, let's make it the lowest of the low so we can push our profit margins. It's the same thing that they're doing with the earth. They created these plastics and all these different things to make a buck, and now you know that we have a crises in our oceans, and I want to say like radiation, like certain things, even with drilling. I heard that drilling underwater, that's another thing where like that's why that drill uh, deal in the Gulf of Mexico, they can't stop it from leaking oil because they make these things and they don't have a backup plan. I want to say with the whole these nuclear power plants, like they don't have backup to the backup power plant plants, So anyway, this is to say all that to say it's far far more than that in the future, very near future. It will be. Um, CRISPR, you know what I mean? Babies being genetically created like Gattaca. Then you're going to get to a point where, we're biohacking, we're uh, becoming half human, half machine. And then you're going to get to where, you can upload your consciousness when you die. So, or probably at some point, and this is like within the next 50 years, okay? The way fast technology is going. Um, um, it's going to get to a point where you have to have a certain license to even have a baby. And I do believe that's going to definitely come. We're going to see that within the next 50 years, for sure. That, you have humanoids, there was the movie Artificial Intelligence with Jude Law and the little boy. I see dead people, little boy. Watch that movie. I mean, all of that's here. They have humanoid robots already looking. But no, there's no gauge, and they're 50 steps ahead of everybody. They're not trying to turn everybody gay. They fucked up and fucked a lot of people up. Even with some of the things they were saying, like when I was a kid, my mom would say like the Similac that they was giving us, because it was still kind of fresh in the 70s, that was making the girls develop earlier. So what's that extra? What you think of now? Now I'm thinking, now I'm grown. It's like, okay, so it must have a lot more estrogen than what it's supposed to, and things like that. And you have things that are happening vice versa. You have also the imbalance as far as endocrine system that are affecting the females, which are making them more aggressive. Okay, but it's all. I mean, it's in every. It's no. I mean, it's from literally from like shampoo products to things we cook with, line the food cans, the bottles, the if you live near industrial areas. I mean, it's in everything. So no, there is not an agenda as an agenda to keep it quiet. How why everybody like that now? But in the future, that it's not about trying to depopulate. They're going to control everything, and then people be having fucking android babies and shit like that. And so I mean, and they don't want Gattaca that not Gattaca, but gosh, Black Mirror just came out episode 1, where they season 5 episode 1 where they was bros, and then they did this virtual thing, and then they went in and they started like it was real to them, and it was these characters of this look like Street Fighter, and then they started sexing on each other. That reminds you of the movie Surrogate, but that's reality. That right there could happen in like 10 years. Okay, they have the technology right now. Always remember, anything that we see on the street or just as a civilian, they've already had at least 20 years. So no, it's all types of they're trying to separate. That's why they're trying to separate. Also, everybody's harping on this gay agenda. No one's really caring about the kids, but they're trying to get it to where kids have more say about their life. It's just because it's in the future. It's Sodom, not to be cliche or religious, because I'm not, but like Sodom and Gomorrah type. They want you have all types of things walking around, and people are going to have to uh, there's be selected to have babies. They're going to be, grown people with young people. That's all. Everything's going to be okay in the future. Everything that we frown upon now is going to be okay in the future, and that's what they're setting everything up for. That's why they're, this is one facet of that Trojan horse type of thing that they do. I call it, with everything that they've introduced to us, every piece of technology and everything that we see, even with tactics about, they have been using to rid us of our freedoms little by little. It's always a Trojan horse where either it's okay, oh, it's good on the front end, but it's detrimental to us, or it's out of fear, and it really was no fear need to be in fear in the first fucking place. So no, there's no gay agenda. It's an agenda to set up how the future man is going to be. I mean, nothing. I'm talking about total control. I mean, they already have control of the seeds and stuff like that. They've basically gotten rid of all the natural seeds, and certain only conglomerate companies own the seeds that we need to eat. Food that produces food. Next is going to be the trees, okay? Then they're going to patent that. And then next is going to be humans, where they're trying to control. It's devilish, it's almost demonic, because we have a section of people that are 0.1% that are rule the world, and they are demonic. They want total control, and trying to take control away from nature in the natural order, and be in control of everything, and want things to be ran how they want things to be ran. And a lot of them are pedophiles anyway, but they don't want that. They don't want, in the future, like I said, that's just this whole, what you think is a gay agenda is really just compartmentalized how they need to break down societies to get to an end goal. Like I said, is so it won't be no gender roles, none of that, and none of that. I mean, like I said, it's gonna be men on men, men on children, women, all that shit, all that robots, couples, humanoid, and one's humanoid, one's a robot. They got, robot children, and you know, like there's in the future, there won't be no nothing, none of that stuff, no gay agenda.